Welcome to the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast, where Gauri Ramkumar of Document 360 finds the best SaaS self-service knowledge bases in the world and then interviews their creators. Let's get started with today's episode.
Good day, everyone. Our guest today is Jordan Stanchev, User Assistance Development Architect at SAP Labs, Bulgaria. Hi, Jordan. Welcome to Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Gauri, and thanks for having me on your podcast. I'm doing just fine today. It's a little bit warm here in Sofia in Bulgaria, but otherwise we are doing just fine. Thank you.
It's the same here as well in UK, Jordan. So we all share the same sun. So please help me explain a little bit more about yourself. How did you initially got into documentation, and where did it all start?
Yeah, so my whole story started, my professional story started like a little bit more than 20 years ago, when I was just a student, and I had first to pick up my first ever job out there. So I applied for a job at a small company back in time for a junior Java developer, and they took me there. So everything was just fine there, and I was working as a Java developer for a couple of years. However, there was a little bit of a problem. I was not very happy with development, and as a result, things were not going that well. And you know, if you do something that is not dear to your heart and you don't enjoy it, well, sooner or later things will go bad. At least this was my experience at the time. And this is exactly what happened to me. Several years after being on the job as the Java developer, I realized, this is not what I want to do. This is not my place. And it was possible to see it in the work that I was delivering. I was not happy, and the results I was producing were poor. And one day I had to make a choice, where do I go now? And luckily for me, in one of the teams that we had in the company back then, there was a position that was supposed to look good for me. And the position was called information developer, or the technical writer job as you know it, which at the time sounded quite interesting for me. So I said, why not give it a try? And I applied for the job of an information developer. And this is how I actually started in the field of technical writing and technical communications. And literally in the next years, I've made, I would dare to say, a pretty good career in this field. I've been into almost all the aspects around technical communications. So I started off as a technical writer and an information developer. I was promoted a couple of years later to a senior information developer. I've been leading smaller or larger groups and of technical writers. Just like me, I got involved into various projects related to this field. And a couple of years later, I got the position of a knowledge architect, which is basically in our company at SAP. This is a position in which you steer the direction for the rest of the information developers, technical writers of the company, which is a great place to be. And this is what I'm working on in the last couple of years. I've been able to shape the direction for, as we call it, user assistance at our company. I was able to start bringing back to the society around me and share the knowledge and experience that I've had by teaching online and at various universities on the subject of technical writing, while still delivering on the job at SAP as a user assistance developer. So that's me. This is where I am today.
Fantastic. So that's an amazing journey you had, Jordan. So, what kind of career options are out there, you think, for technical writers?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because believe it or not, in the last years or on any of the conferences and events that I've attended, I've met so many technical writers who were nervous about their career. And I've met so many people who told me, oh, technical writing is dead. This is not the way to go forward. But what is the surprise here? Look where we are right now. It turned out that in these crazy times and in which we live in right now, the technical writers are the people who continue to be on the job. They have a steady job and they continue to contribute to their companies. What a surprise! A dead, in quotes, job that continues to strive, right, and to grow. And what I believe is that actually there are so many great options for technical writers out there. The reality is that classical technical writing as such is what I believe is dead. The fact that you just go out there, you just write a little bit of documentation and then nobody cares about it, well, that's a dead end for the career. However, technical writing and technical communications are picking up in all the other aspects of technical writing. And I can name a few already. The reality is that technical writers are an invaluable factor for the overall information architecture of the content that is being produced by any of the companies. The technical writers are the people who have to handle complicated processes, especially in the software development industry, and try to bring the knowledge and experience of a development team into the technical writing world, and this way provide the best user experience for our end users, the people who consume this documentation. Nowadays, technical writers are so heavily involved not only in the written part of the content, but also in the instructional videos development. Just take a look at YouTube and the number of how-to or instructional videos that are out there. The technical writers are the one who apply their expertise and their knowledge to create beautiful instructional type of images. Look at the wonderful infographics that technical writers create today. All of these modern and fresh ways to present information, in my perspective, in my opinion, they come from technical writers as we know them today. And on top of that, technical writers, and you can kind of grow in your career as a technical writer also in quite technical fields, such as working with metadata and dealing with search engine optimization aspects of the content, trying to bring more traffic to your company portal in the end with the information that we provide. These are extremely important assets that technical writers develop, create, and contribute in the end for the good of the customers of the company. And this is not the end. It's also on the different career roles and career paths that you can take as a technical writer. Especially, again, I can speak only from my perspective as a person being in the software development part of the world. You know, the technical writers are so tightly integrated into the development teams. And from there, you can take your journey to various levels and different positions. You can become a manager who manages other technical writers, but you can be also a person running entire development teams because you are an integral part of the development team. So the career options are just in front of us, and all the normal skills that you would use for any other type of job can be easily applied in your career path as a technical writer. For me personally, the most important experience that I had and helped me to kind of boost my career was the knowledge around project management and how do I manage my projects. When I applied such form of skills in my work as a technical writer, soon I became the person who was running any type of projects related to technical writing. And this helped me to become more visible and grow in my career. So I believe that any of the listeners here can do the same. And if you just open your mind and look for the different ways in which you can help the customers out there, you will also for sure grow in your career too.
Very well said, Jordan. That's absolutely true. So in that sense, what's your documentation process at SAP Labs, and who is normally involved?
Yeah, we've been through various documentation development processes at SAP in general and SAP Labs Bulgaria in particular. Back in time, a couple of years ago, we were more centralized, and the organizations were that we have, the development teams, they were fed with technical writers coming from one central unit of technical writers. So imagine a large team of technical writers, and if you have a development team, they just come and apply for a technical writer to be given to them. But this was in the past. This is how we used to work. What we found out, and this was the experience that we got in our company, was that those technical writers anyway have to be extremely tightly integrated into the software development teams. So what happened in our company was that we did a reorganization, and nowadays the technical writers usually are an integral part of the software development team. So even to reflect that, we changed the role name. So in our company, the technical writers have a title, User Assistance Developer. Just like all the other developers on the team, they are developing and contributing to the overall software product that we are producing. And in our company, what we do is that we run agile development processes. Like I said, the technical writer is an integral part of the software development team. We do not differentiate that much the different roles in the team any longer. Our primary concern is what is best for the customer. And for me, this is crucial. This is essential. And in all of my courses and trainings that I deliver to students, I talk a lot about that. Knowing who is the customer and delivering on the customer is maybe the most important thing you can do as a technical writer. And being a part of the software development team allows you to actually contribute to that in a very visible way. So for us, the technical writer now is an integral part of the software development team.
Super. So let's just continue on that topic, Jordan. So you did touch base very lightly on the important factors you consider when creating software. What other important factors do you consider?
Yeah, when we talk about software documentation in particular, I've always been thinking about it in terms of specific principles that we apply towards the development of the software documentation content. And for me, again, the first major thing is to decide who are you going to write this documentation for? Who is your target audience? It is so important nowadays when everybody expects personalized experience with the software and, of course, with the software documentation that we bring. Knowing who is your customer, identifying the persona, and then knowing the information needs of these users will help you to find your way through the definition of the content that you want to write after all. Once you know who the target audience is, what are their information needs, you need to take into account the writing standard and guidelines for your company in which you work. Knowing that will allow you to bring this holistic experience for the end user. by matching the actual brand of your company, by knowing exactly what is the style, the tone, the voice in which you should address your users, so that you kind of seem like one thing with the software and the way the company sounds. So if you have a company which develops games, your tone, your voice in the documentation will be friendly and fun and easygoing. If you, like our SAP company, provide business software, of course, your tone again will be friendly, but you will be much more formal in everything you do, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the aspects that you need to consider. Then
Super.
you move on
Mm-hmm.
to specific deliverables. What exactly do you have to create? And here is a challenging question that I usually ask myself. Is it really that I have to write? Isn't an image or a graphic much better? Or is an instructional video that I should create before I decide what do I have to do, and should I write right now the documentation itself?
Super. Super. So again, the next one I thought it will be very relevant to ask is, so after introducing such high quality documentation with pictures, images, and videos, have you seen any kind of reduction in workload by introducing such documentation?
Absolutely. This is related directly to the actual value that we deliver as people who deliver technical writing services, and also different flavors of the technical writing with the videos and the images like you mentioned. The quality of the documentation directly impacts on key factors in the company, such as the number of support tickets. It also impacts the number of visits on the website itself, because nowadays, believe it or not, people are actually going to look into documentation before they make a purchasing decision for the actual product. And also, the quality of the documentation will impact the time that the development team itself needs to spend on preparing and analyzing what documentation to be provided. So all of those three key factors are directly impacted by the software documentation.
Mm-hmm. Super. So, how do you decide on the type of technical writing that you should work on, whether that be a user docs or a technical docs?
Yeah, that's for me. This is actually a very tough question, because in my work, this is literally a decision I have to make almost on a daily basis, what type of information I should present and provide. In general, what I would say is just to refer to where I started. Who are you talking to? Who is your target audience, and what is the persona you're trying to address? That would give me this notion of whether I should write a user guide or something much more technical. Personally, for me, in my work, I have to focus so much on software developers today. That's why the documentation that I provide is very, very technical. It needs to come in the form of some specification that I provide, but always kind of made a little bit lighter with very good diagrams which explain the different processes that needs to be fulfilled by my technical target audience. So this is what I actually tend to do, trying to balance those needs and knowing exactly whom am I writing for.
Super, super. One thing we did not discuss a lot is, are all your documentation publicly available, or do you need to have a login to access the contents?
We have both of those cases. We have documentation which is publicly available. That's like the majority of the documentation that we provide. We do not gate a lot of that content. It's public, it's available out there. And like 20% of the documentation is for people who have purchased the product and is gated, or is rather technical internal documentation. In the past, I've been primarily contributing for documentation which is public for our end users, for customers, while in the last years, I've been focusing primarily on internal flavors of the documentation for internal consumption, which is not publicly available and requires login.
All right. So have you noticed any organic search traffic being generated from such publicly available knowledge bases?
Absolutely, yes, and that is so important. That was the reason why I mentioned that I'm a strong believer in this theory, how people more and more tend to refer to the documentation before they make their purchasing decision. Even myself, when I go to purchase software product, I will check what's the documentation there that will help me later on to use this software product. And because we use analytic tools to track the statistics on our portals, on our websites, I can confirm that people do come and visit our website, and then they take on to further content, to further information provided by our company. They explore courses, they explore further products. So documentation is a source of such a traffic.
Super. So, final question before we move on to the rapid fire round. What direction do you see the future of technical writing going down, Jordan?
From my perspective, there are exciting times ahead of us. I see that the direction for technical writers in future will be less of this more classical type of technical writers. I believe that the technical writers need to become at least a little bit more techie type of people that can work well in the software industry. You can already see this trend with the needs to work with structured content such as data XML, and also this desire in our target audiences to have extremely personalized content. I believe that also the technical writers of the future will have to write less, think more, analyze more the user, and be ready to just say, maybe I should do an instructional video here and there instead of just writing piles of documentation. So the future, from my perspective, is bright and quite promising for a person in this field.
Super. That's really encouraging. And anyone who would like to take this as your main career, I think you should listen to this podcast. Super. So let's move on to the rapid fire round, Jordan. So who have you learned the most about documentation from in your career?
One of the major challenges that I had at the beginning of my career is that unlike other parts of the world, in Eastern Europe and in Bulgaria in particular, there were no people to learn from. So many people that I have learned from are actually coming from my company directly. So people like Sven Leukert at SAP or Priscilla Buckley are people whom I've learned the most in my career around software documentation. While if I have to name a person who gave me a direction for looking at the world and this philosophy of helping more people out there by delivering more value to those people, it's a person like T-Harv Eckert who kind of steered my philosophy around everything that I do in my work.
Super. So can you share a documentation related resource you have recently consumed?
Yeah, sure. Back in the days, I was literally a crazy fan on reading books. I really love reading books. However, in the last years, I simply do not have the physical time to do so. So I've kind of switched from reading books to listening online courses when I travel or when I have some free time. I'm just putting on the speakers and listening to online courses, such as the courses you find on Udemy or LinkedIn Learning. And the last resource directly related to documentation that I've been looking at is actually related to business analysis. And it was a business analyst course that I purchased on Udemy. And it helped me to build a solid understanding and a framework for preparing technical specifications documentation that I had to write lately. So these courses on business analysis and the BABOK guide, the business analyst guides, are what I've been reading lately, which helped me a lot to organize my very technical documentation requirements.
Super. So we are almost to the end of the podcast, but with a very important question. What is that one piece of documentation related advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Well, that's a tough one. Yeah, 20 years ago, 20 years old self. I would say that if I can look back at where I was when I was 20 years old, be much more confident, believe in yourself, and one very, very important feature, always deliver on your promises. This is so important to be in integrity with yourself. And when you say something, you really do it and deliver on that. I learned it kind of the hard way as a young 20 years old. You know, if I say something, then, well, it may happen, it may not, but who cares? In reality, it is so important then that when you are committed to something, you really follow up and deliver on the promise that you made to everybody. Try it out, even in your own career, and you will see amazing results if you follow this advice. I really hope that I had somebody to tell it to me when I was 20 years old.
So I was just trying to understand, do you have any last bits of tips and tricks you would like to share with our audience?
Well, one thing that I have prepared especially for your audience in case you believe it could be curious and helpful for them, is that I have prepared a small mini course which is available on my own website. So can I share that with the audience?
Sure. Yeah, please feel free. If you would like to send that detail, you can email it to me and we will include that as part of the podcast.
Absolutely. So for the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast listeners, I have prepared a very small mini course which explains in half an hour what is actually technical writing and how technical writers fit into the software development world. I also explain in a little bit more details a technical writing process that people can follow to get them a good start into the technical writing career. So I hope this would be interesting and relevant for the audience.
Fantastic. That's absolutely great, Jordan. So thank you once again for all the time you spent with us today. And it's been an amazing experience to listen, and especially the advice that you gave to the young technical writers. So again, it's a pleasure to have you as part of this podcast series, and wish you good luck in all your future engagements.
Thanks for having me, Gauri, and all the best to all the listeners of this great podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Knowledge Base Ninjas podcast. Please head to iTunes, rate, and provide honest feedback on the podcast. See you next week.